A recent poll of 2,000 high school seniors posed the following question. How many texts do you send in a day? The pie chart on the following page represents the responses. Use this data to answer questions part A through E. Now, just to refresh here, we talked to 2,000 high school seniors. Okay, next page here is the bar chart, or the pie chart, excuse me. We're going to come back and we're going to check this out when we get to different questions. But you can see it's color coordinated, and the key here is on the side with these being the number of texts. So you can see this is 0 to 100 texts, 101 to 200 texts, and that kind of thing. All right, so question A, what is the population? Well, remember from the first page, we talked to 2,000 high school seniors. So the population is all high school seniors, because the population talks about everybody that you could have talked to. The sample size is where we say, okay, we could have talked to all of them. That's the population. The sample size is how many did we actually talk to? 2,000 high school seniors. So remember, population is the word all. Sample size actually has a specific number. Letter C, what is the 95% margin of error? Remember that to find the margin of error, well, the 95% margin of error, we're going to take 1 divided by the sample size, the square root of the sample size. So I have 1 divided by the square root of 2,000. Now, depending on how your calculator, you might have to take the square root of 2,000 first and then take 1 divided by that answer. Some calculators will let you type that all at the same time. But as a decimal, we're going to get 0.022, and I'm going to go ahead and change that to a percent. So our margin of error is 2.2%. All right, we can go either way. Now in part D, we want to create a 95% confidence interval for seniors who send between 201 and 300 texts in a day. Let's go back to our pie graph. So we want between 201 and 300. We want the gray box. Well, the gray box is right here. So our number, or our point estimate, is 21%. So when I go back to my confidence interval, we're talking about 21% plus or minus 2.2%. So to find the lower end, I'm going to take 21 and subtract 2.2, which will give me 8.8%. And to find the upper half, I'm going to add 2.2, which is 23.2%. And so my 95% confidence interval is 18.8% to 23.2%. And I know that you're thinking, part E, interpret the interval. What does that confidence interval mean? So I always think of these as Mad Libs. We start with, we are 95% confident. What are we confident about? Well, we're confident that between 18.8% and 23.2%, right, there's my confidence interval. So we're 95% confident that between 18.8% and 23.2% of who? Of high school seniors. And what do? They send between 201 and 300 texts in a day. So you kind of have 4 pieces, right? We are confident. Then it's between, your confidence interval. We go to the blue part, which is your population, and then the green part, what did they do? So those are kind of the 4 parts of your interpretation of a 95% confidence interval.